Hi everybody, John Cena here and welcome to Series 2, Episode 10 of FunkQuest. And we have two more intrepid Funksters on the line today to try to get into, first of all, the second round, but ultimately the grand final of FunkQuest Season 2. And Terry Fox and Emily Davis. And starting with Terry, tell me who you are, where you're from and what you do.
Hi everybody, I'm Terry Fox. I am a licensed acupuncturist in Fort Collins, Colorado. I specialize in aesthetic and facial acupuncture. So think Botox without the Botox and you are on the right track. We help lift, tighten, and tone and get rid of those wrinkles without having to do all the toxins and fillers and surgery.
I think you're the first acupuncturist we've had on.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so you're welcome. Hello.
Well, thank you.
And Emily, tell me who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Absolutely. So I am Emily Davis. I am a best-selling author. I'm a working psychic, and I am a metaphysical coach that I essentially helps people to access their own psychic abilities and learn how to use them without fear. And I am from Lake Tahoe, California.
Good. Welcome. Hello there. And so let's get going. And first thing is to say that if you think you are funky enough, send me a tweet at johncini1. And this is harder than it looks. These folks make this look pretty easy, and it's not. It's difficult. But if you think you've got what it takes, send me a tweet and get ready to vote, because one of these Funksters is going to go through to the next round, and you've got to be ready in 12 or 13 minutes time. Terry's nodding. I think you should be kind of doing this kind of stuff to draw attention to yourself. Get a pencil or a piece of paper ready, because preferably both, because you need to note down who you want to vote for. And we're looking for insights, ideas, thoughts, suggestions, something that you didn't know that you now know. And it's not necessarily knowledge. It could be a book that you want to go read, or it could be a website you want to check out. It's looking like a micro insight. And, you can also join in with hashtag FunkQuest if you think you've got a better answer. So let's get started, and we're just going to go with, I'll tell you what, we're going to do a coin toss. Emily, ladies, choose. You can choose orange or pink.
Pink.
It is pink, so you get to choose whether you go first or second.
Awesome. I will go first.
You go first. Right, question one.
Ladies first.
Well, it is a bit of an advantage to go second, I always think, but, horses for courses and ladies and all that. So, Emily, go pick an icon from line one.
I'm going to go with the classic Game Boy Color because I am a massive gamer.
The Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best book you ever read?
Oh my goodness. The best book I ever read was, and is to this day, Madeline Miller's The Song of Achilles. I love everything that she does, and I'm a super big proponent of high vibration fiction, so fiction that makes you connect with like your internal magic. And for me, that book hit not only like at a perfect time in my life, but was so aligned with the vibration I needed to like raise myself up that I've read it now like 4 or 5 times.
What genre is it? Is it a fiction book, or is it a self-discovery type book, or what would you...
It is a fiction book. It's a fantasy fiction where essentially she took the Iliad and she retold it through one of the lesser-known characters' eyes, Patroclus, and it's so good. It's just so beautiful.
Going from one of the other characters from the perspective of that's interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. So essentially what she did is she kind of flipped it on its head too, because in the original Iliad, Patroclus is Achilles' kind of just like best friend, right-hand man, but he goes like absolutely nuts when Patroclus dies. And so in this one, she made it from the eyes of Patroclus and really built their friendship and their love, and it's beautiful.
What's it called?
The Song of Achilles.
The Song of Achilles.
Yeah.
I never heard of that. I must quite crudely say. Next question. Well, next Terry's going to get a go at this question, which is the best book you ever read.
Oh my goodness. Currently, I want to say that is it's a series of 3 books actually by Brandon Sanderson, the Mistborn series. And I'm a big fan of science fiction and fantasy. And Sanderson was tapped. I found him because he was tapped to finish Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. And this man is so fantastic with his world building and his unique systems of magic that he creates. And for example, this specific system of magic has to do with swallowing different bits of metal and digesting them, and then they give you different powers. And that's one system. And then he has another system that's actually based off of acupuncture. And when I spoke to Brandon, because I actually got to meet him and I was curious, I said, did you base this on acupuncture? And he said, yes, we based that on acupuncture, but for the soul. And so these bad guys would insert different bits of metal into their bodies, and it would give them different powers. So to me, it was just, fantastic, mind-blowing, so immersive. And Sanderson writes in a way that's very simple for someone to understand, and the pacing is very dynamic. It's like watching a movie, but better because it's all up here.
Because you can do it, yeah. Good answers, not heard either of them. Question 2, and it is Terry to go first.
The Polaroid camera, please.
The camera. What do you bring or take with you everywhere you go?
Oh my goodness. I have a couple of things I bring or take with me. One is this right here. This is
what is that?
An essential oil blend, On Guard protective blend from doTERRA. That is so much better than hand sanitizer for me. It lasts longer, it smells better, and the essential oils are antiviral, antibacterial. And it was a lifesaver when my son was going through his cancer treatment and his immune system was very compromised. We were able to use that a lot in different places where we went, and it's definitely something that I carry with me just about everywhere. The other thing is this little pocket tool here. It's got pliers and knife, scissors, box cutters on it. It's all sorts of stuff. But that's the ranch kid from me, from growing up on a ranch in Wyoming. So,
funny enough, Series 2, Episode 8, Donnie took a knife everywhere he went. Interesting, yeah. Emily, you got the same question, which is, what do you bring with you everywhere you go?
I bring my fantastic astrological day planner, mostly because like my entire life lives in the book, and if I don't have it with me, then I will definitely miss appointments for sure. But it also is really fun because it literally will give me a forecast from the stars for my day, and I live on that. And then I also bring I actually bring my iPad everywhere because I'm a super active artist, and one of my rituals anytime I'm waiting or in the morning or anything like that is to just work on art kind of constantly to help ground myself and center myself. And so I bring my iPad pretty much everywhere I go as well, because you never know when there's going to be an opportunity to
draw. Hang on, so you draw with an iPad. How do you do that?
I do. So there's it's digital art essentially. So I have a Apple Pencil that goes with it, and you essentially get to draw and create right there, and it eliminates the need to do erasing or clean up a big mess. And it's there's so much more you can do. It's more versatile. You can animate what you draw, tons of fun stuff like that. So yeah.
Presumably there's loads of apps and all that kind of stuff. I've never come across that before.
Yeah. It's really fun and super. It's a huge thing in a really tiny package, because the amount of stuff that you can do is just massive.
I need to figure that out. I'm rubbish at drawing. I need to go figure that out. And which question 3, and it's Emily to go first.
I'm feeling the Great Wall of China.
Great Wall of China, good choice.
Yeah.
What would you take to a desert island?
Ooh, what would I take to a desert island? I would take my fiance. He's an Eagle Scout.
Do all that stuff.
Yeah, he would be able to do all the things that I wouldn't understand how to do. I do have survival skills, I promise. But
what would you be doing, laying in a hammock or something like that while he's kind of warding off bears?
No. Would there be bears on a desert island?
I don't know. Maybe.
There's bears where I live. I ward off bears all the time.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I'm sure I would be helping him, but I also would want the company and I would want the skill set. So it would be a fantastic win.
So does he get a choice in whether he's going to this thing or not then, do you reckon?
I mean, I would really hope he didn't get a choice at that point, because he's coming with me.
Yeah. I don't know. Physically, I don't know how you're going to get there. I don't know what it's like. I don't know anything about it. It's just what would you take? So you'd take, well, that's cropped up before, actually. Just take a man to do all the stuff. You're not the first one to say that. Like a manservant.
I wouldn't be a manservant, but I mean, he has skills. Every time we go camping or anything, he does like this new crazy survival thing, and I'm like, how did you learn how to do that thing? That's amazing.
You sold me when you said he was going to be like the Eagle Scout. That was it. That was the
Yeah.
Terry, you got the same question, which is, what would you take to a desert island?
Well, I would probably take my acupuncture kit. That's for darn sure. Because I keep needles in it. I keep Chinese herbs in it for different emergencies, things that stop bleeding, for example.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it's very handy. I generally take it wherever I travel, so that, if I'm feeling icky, well, then I can needle myself, or if I've got friends and family that aren't feeling so hot, then I will administer proper herbs for stomach upset, or, Chinese medicine can be so doggone handy. But I do have to give it to Emily because, having the Eagle Scout around, that's handy, very handy as well.
That's good. Rent an Eagle Scout. You should get doing that. If there's any Eagle Scouts listening and want to be on the show, get in touch, because we'll get you on and find out what it would be actually like to be a man. Sorry, Terry, I'm taking up your time.
Oh, no worries. No worries. I mean, it's all about being prepared. And
I'm just curious about how you can needle yourself.
Well, as long as I'm not having to needle my back or anywhere where I can't reach, I can do pretty well. And there's a lot of powerful points on the hands, on the legs, and on the feet that can be very effective for multiple different things. So it's not difficult to needle oneself, and that's how we practice in acupuncture school. Is they say, okay, you're not needling anybody until you get good at needling yourself.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
You don't want anybody who hasn't needed somebody before to needle.
Well, that's true, yeah. The very first person I'm going to stab is you. You wouldn't do that, would you? No, that's true. And next question, and question 4, Terry.
Question 4. All right, I'm still drawn to that punk rocker with the mohawk.
The punk rock girl, yeah. What will always be in fashion no matter how much time passes?
That would be treating others the way you want to be treated. And that, the golden rule is never going to go out of fashion as far as I'm concerned. When you treat others the way you want to be treated, that gets reflected back. Most times. Yeah. And if it doesn't, that person's not going to be around for much longer because they've got other issues they got to deal with. But to me, yeah, the golden rule is always going to be in fashion.
That's a good answer. And I must say that is just crop up quite a lot. And why is it that it's left for us kind of wackos talking about this random stuff to talk about please, thank you, showing up on time, respect, all that kind of thing? I'm just confused by that, but that's time anyway, so we don't have time to go into that. Maybe we should at some point. Any please and thank you experts on the listening, get in touch. Emily, you get the same question, which is what will always be in fashion no matter how much time passes?
Well, initially my gut was like, say kindness, but he's still kindness. So I am going to say authenticity. Because I feel like that applies to whether you're talking about physical fashion and what you dress, however authentic it is to who you are. But also, I'm a psychic, so I'm literally authentic all the time. So it's one of my major goals to continually do that. And I feel like I'm always way more drawn to people who are also equally authentic, like the amazing Funksters on this show. Yep. Because being authentic and being who you really are is never going to be out of fashion. That's literally who you were made to be.
Yeah, that's a good answer. And I'm just curious how we can, apart from coming on the show, how can we spot this in others? Kind of like people on TV and stuff like that. How can we spot when somebody's being authentic or not? Any thoughts on that?
Usually I say it always goes back to developing your intuitive sense about someone, and really so you can start to feel like their energy and where they're coming from in that way. Most of the time when someone's being authentic, you can tell kind of energetically because they're presenting themselves as this whole thing, this real thing. Where someone's being fake, you kind of get that intuitive hit of you want to kind of close off. And that's a big difference, even if you're watching someone on TV or talking to them in person.
Oh, yeah, good answer.
Amen to that.
Yeah. And question 5, and it is Emily.
I am going to go with the Vespa.
The little yellow scooter thing. What's the oldest thing you own?
Oh my, the oldest thing that I own, I have some spurs. So I was a horseback trail guide in the mountains of Lake Tahoe for a long time, and I love horses with all of my being. And so my great-grandpa, which ironically lives in Colorado Springs, which is hilarious because that's where Terry's from, He gave me these spurs, and they're from, I want to say, the early 1800s, and they're handcrafted, and they're absolutely beautiful. I never use them. They just exist in my space because I marvel at them. And they have these beautiful, intricate designs, and they're just so crazy beautiful, and obviously were worn by cowboys, and I'm out here in the wild, wild west. So
that's the real history, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's every cowboy film I've ever seen. Can you send a picture? Can we get that in the show? Because that
yeah, I'll send a picture. Yeah, it's interesting. So I have a little bit of like clairtangency where I can touch things and kind of know information about them. It's one of the clair senses, which is one of like the psychic senses. And so every time I like hold them, I like get a sense of like the history and the feel of the person who wore them, and they're really, really intriguing.
Yeah, send a picture. I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant. Terry, you got the same question, which is the yellow scooter, the oldest thing that you own.
The oldest thing I own, I think, well, I just picked it up. Actually, I'm going to step off screen for just a moment.
Yeah, he's going to go find this. Wasn't prepared, and if you're listening to this, you'll know that it's not.
Is this stone? I don't know if it'll come up on camera here.
Yeah.
This is purple fluorite found from a mine in Creede, Colorado, and I picked this up while I was out elk hunting this fall. This stone is extremely old, but it's beautiful, and I keep it here in my office because purple fluorite, according to Taoist stone medicine, is very cooling to the consciousness and the psyche, and so it can help really calm a person who's very stressed out, very disturbed, mentally disturbed in some cases, and can help bring them back down into their authentic state of consciousness. So it's a beautiful stone. It's old, very old, but very, very much fun.
You've got to send us a picture of that to get that in the show notes as well.
I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be very cool.
I didn't even think about the 75 different crystals around me as being old.
Well, the things that are thousands of years old.
I know. I was just like, oh. Yeah, I didn't even get it because I have so many crystals around me right now.
I mean, to be honest, both of those I've got some LP records from the 60s or something like that. They're just good answers, yeah. So that's it. And in that, who won? Well, I don't know. Who was the most insightful for you? Who gave you the biggest idea, thought, suggestion, or something that you're going to go away and find out more, or just that little thing that piqued your interest? And if you think that Emily gave you the biggest insight, send an email to emily@funkythinkers.com. And if you think that Terry gave you the biggest insight, send an email to terry@funkythinkers.com, and you will get an acknowledgement, and there'll be no stupid list or anything stupid like that. So that's what to do. Terry, how can we find out more about you and get to know about acupuncture?
You can find me online either at my podcast website, which is thegetfoxyshow.com, or if you want to learn more about my facial acupuncture work, you can find it at Artesian Spring, and the letter O for Oriental, the letter M for medicine, so artesianspringom.com.
Good. And if you're kind of struggling with a pen, if you wrote down who to vote for, we'll link to that in the show notes. And Emily, how can we find out more about you?
Yeah, so you can find me on my website, which is actually the same title as my book, so it's damselnomore.com, and that will link you to my podcast, which is Perceptionist Anonymous. It's a metaphysical comedy podcast, or all of my various social media things that I do, and you can ask one free psychic question there too.
Fantastic, and that again is in the show notes. Terry and Emily, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was great.
We'll speak soon. Thank you. Hi, thanks so much for making it to the end of this episode. If you've enjoyed it, please share it with your friends. I have a few people you might want to share it with. Your partner, your parents, your grandma and granddad, your neighbours, your hairdresser, your tea lady, your gym instructor, your swimming coach, postman, the bin man, your cat, your dog, Father Christmas, Mr. Trump, Mr. Putin, Cristiano Ronaldo.